Welcome to story time. Alright, so you guys already know that the pregnancy was not very healthy, as we can say. I had been feeling more tired in the beginning of week 37, and so I decided to go to the lab and check what was going on, because we already know that I had low platelets. They were not where they're supposed to be, because any person should have between 150,000 to 450,000 volumes per microliter. Anyway, something like that. So, per microliter of blood. So I went in, the results came out, I sent them to the doctor, and the doctor is like, okay, come in for an appointment. He sounded pretty cool. He sounded pretty okay. It's okay, you just come in. Until when he saw the physical paper. I don't know, maybe it's like he just doesn't deal too well with WhatsApp and mobile device. No, he actually saw the results. He saw them, he said, okay, come in. Yeah, he was cool. Yeah, he was cool. So we all walked in. Then when he was reading the report now, physical report, the guy started shaking. No. He wasn't shaking. This is not possible. Where's your phone? And he was like this. Now I need to call this, he's called hematologist, I think. Yeah. The hematologist, and find out whether they can actually schedule the surgery and whether it can happen and all those things. That was the longest 15 minutes of life, right? Was it 15? No, it was not 15 minutes. Well, it was very short, but it felt like an eternity. When they were calling the doctor? Yeah. Yeah. Also, he called 2 different guys, and all 2 different people had different thoughts, you know, school of thoughts. One was like, you can actually go in and operate now. Then the other one was like, actually you need to do a bleed test. Yeah. You know, so it was a bit of a, okay, what do we do? Because you're calling experts in the field and they're telling you 2 different things. So that's basically, that's when we understood that we were not going to go the normal route. We were going to have to go through cesarean. The CS, which, let's be honest, it had been pretty much clear from the onset. Yeah, from the onset, when we started having so many issues. I kept going back, and he kept trying to push the weeks for as far as they could go before he could take the baby out. Yeah. So we were told, you're not going home. No, actually, this is what he said. You're going home today with a baby. And we were like, whoa, hold up, wait a minute, because I'm not ready for a baby. I have 3 more weeks, right? And that was the school of thought the entire time, that we were gonna push it to 40 weeks. And noting that we had just finished week 36, we're just starting week 37. Yeah. It was crazy. Anyway, so he started assigning tasks to people. So he was like, now, to save on time, you go look for platelets, and as so she goes, Ibie looks for platelets to the hospital for admission. Yeah. And so we started making phone calls, tried to get people here and there, and then we rang. So of course I should also at this point give thanks to all the people who participated in this craziness and trying to look for people, including putting posts on Facebook. Oh, that happened. Red Cross. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we all stepped out and started filling in papers for the admission and things like those, get insurances involved, and we went. Well, first we ate. Oh yeah, we ate. First we ate, because listen, if now, I had known... This one was shaking like this. Yeah. Not because she was scared. She was hungry. This one was only caring about her belly and what to put inside.
Now, as we're talking, she started, now thinking about the whole thing, and I think that's when it dawned on her that, well, this is serious business we're talking here. So we ate, yeah, and ate. Then we went home. I dropped you home, huh? As you waited for your cousin.
So I called my cousins to come take me to hospital, and Ibie left with another friend of ours and his sister to go look for platelets. It's interesting because we didn't know anything about how to find platelets until we actually needed them.
Yeah, I actually don't know how we never did research or to know the process and what is required, and also have things on standby. But I think it's mostly because we were quite optimistic. We thought you will hit the 40 weeks, and so we still had a few more weeks to, play with and try get stuff.
Okay, picture this: you had one school of thought that we're gonna get to 40 weeks and it's gonna be cool, it's gonna be easy. But then life happens and you have to, like, your entire world, your plan is in shambles. We had a hospital, thank God. We had a doctor, thank God. We had a bit of clothes for the baby, thank God. And Mimi went shopping,
Yeah.
What we didn't have was a panic mode, or what is it called? A safety plan. I don't know what they're called. A fallback plan. That is what we did not have.
Yeah, maybe that. Yeah. So I'm not too sure how it works in other countries, but here in Nairobi, Kenya, you have to give blood to get blood back, or any product of blood. So let's say, for example, you needed O positive. Call it O positive, huh? In French they call it O plus, but I guess it's the same thing. So if you need an O positive and you don't have it, so you can go with someone who has A negative or AB or whatever, and then they will donate and you'll get your O positive in return. So we went with that mindset. So I carried my sister, a friend of mine, and up we went. Made a few phone calls, got 2 extra people. Yeah, and so we went. Now, little did we know that actually you don't donate blood and get platelets. You actually use the person or the people you've gone with, so that they extract the platelet from the blood and then return it back in. I can't remember what the process is called, but we will just write it down there. So so all the people that went, because I just called, people left offices and just went and donated and things like those, went, gave the blood, and then walked out. Now, the nurse who was dealing with that whole thing never told them that, look, you guys need to go through this process. She just took the blood and told them, hi, thank you, bye bye. So he went in there. 3 people later is when some guys telling us, oh, you guys are here for platelets. That's not the process. It's supposed to be something different. And that's when we're like, wow, okay, so now what do we do? Because now looks like whatever was written was also not understood. So they were telling me that I needed at least 3 people to donate the platelets to get the quantity that was required. And it is 45,000 shillings. That is roughly $450 per head.
Yeah.
So that's 450 times 3. Now, that's when you're like, hey Jesus. Kimadi. So, I was like, you know what? Let's do it. But now we didn't have the people. Then at the time when this thing is happening, or when we're realizing that this is the problem, it was around 10 p.m., right?
Yeah, that's when you called me.
Yeah. So, I'm calling the hematologist, trying to understand, wait, you said this quantity and it requires 3 people? Like, yeah, I guess so, because this is what they're saying, but I doubt. Why are they saying that? Normally one person should be able to do the whole thing. Maybe they just don't have the proper equipment, but that should be the case. And mind you, this was a big hospital. So now after we're like, okay, you know what, let's just do this thing and then go back and then have this lady cut open.
Wow.
Now, so the nurse now comes back and tells me, we normally close at 8, so you'll have to come tomorrow. I'm like, I have a patient who needs this thing now. It's a matter of life and death. You know, according to policy, I don't know what. I felt like telling her that is why sometimes you people are replaced with machines. If you cannot understand the need and the urgency and just stick to the rules and stuff like those, then why do I need you? Anyway, so we packed our things and left. So now, in my wisdom, I decide, you know what, let's try and check other hospitals to see if we can get a better rate, because for $50 times 3 is really not pocket friendly, especially given that I'll have to pay out of pocket. The insurance will not cover that. So went to like 3 different hospitals, try to understand how the things are, what are the processes and all that. By the time we were settling on now the next hospital, because it was slightly cheaper, they were doing that at 300.
$380.
Yeah,
dollars.
380. So
38,000.
38,000. I was like, okay, not bad. Few shillings.
Few thousands.
Oh yeah, few thousands. Yeah, actually many thousands.
Yeah, you'll save a lot of
especially when you
thousands.
multiply by 3.
Especially when you have a newborn coming.
And you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like, okay, so we'll do this one, and they're quite okay, and the nurse and the people there were really friendly, and they helped, so we had everything. But there was something that really got us thinking, or also disturbed us a lot. This lady you see here, she's O negative. So now that became another issue, because when I went to the 3rd hospital to ask about some of the details, because there's been a lot of confusion. People are like, you need an O-negative donor. Then some guys are like, no, you don't need an O-negative donor. Platelets don't really have racers and all those things. So any should do. But then this 3rd hospital tells me, it depends on how it is done. If it is done well and there are no remnants, then she's okay. So now when you start hearing such things, you start thinking and you're like, okay, there are so many ways in leaving a drop of blood inside. Either when she's packaging it, when she's removing the needles or whatever, or maybe even the equipments are old or outdated. So I really don't want to take that risk. So we went back again to square one, looking for a no negative donor.
And when I say looking, it was like search. We literally don't know any O negative people. Maybe because we've never spoken to people about their blood group, and this should serve as a lesson to people that you should know what group or blood group that your friends have, and just try to remember them, because
yeah,
it was crazy.
Especially when you have a rare rhesus like this one, who can only take from O negative, and I can't remember the percentage. I think it's 2% of the population. Not too sure, but yeah.
Yeah.
So at this point in time, it's about midnight, 1 a.m.
Yeah, it's midnight. He's come to where I was admitted, and he's tired and he's frustrated and he doesn't know what else to do. When you call the doctors, they're like, you have to find them. Now what do we do? That's the other thing about it. Aren't hospitals supposed to provide what your patient needs? Isn't that something that should happen? Why should I, as the patient or your loved ones, be running around looking for things that hospitals know how to get and should get for you?
Yeah, the quickest. So So went to the hospital, spoke to her, she was okay, and yeah, no surgery today. No CS.
Couldn't happen without
the platelets, because we really don't know what is going to happen. Now, for those who don't know what platelets are, they are actually they're part of the blood, and they're supposed to help in clotting of the blood. So once they drop at a certain level, which is like around 80, which is where she was, then it means she will never clot. So which means whether it was normal delivery or CS, then
the problem was the same. Yes.
That is basically the risk, and that is how crazy it was. Already below 140 was a problem. 100 kind of manageable, but 80 was just too much. So that was basically the situation where we were at. So by the time I was going to bed, which was around 1-2 a.m., we had no O-negative donor, and we didn't know how we were going to handle the whole thing. So you can imagine. Ibie didn't sleep.
Ibie didn't sleep. I didn't sleep because I kept getting I was worried. I was concerned about how he was holding up. B, I was worried about where we were going to get the platelets. And then C, they kept waking me up in hospital to check how I and the baby were doing, because also the fetal movements had decreased, like, significantly. And that was really freaking me out as well. So we weren't sleeping, we just kept calling each other. At some point I laid off the phone calls to let him just try and have some sleep, but I'm pretty sure he didn't sleep.
Early in the morning, that was around 6. I don't know what was going on.
6 a.m.
6. Oh, that was supposed to be your surgery.
So at 6 a.m. my doctor calls me and he's like, Mimi, listen, quick one, we're gonna have to operate. We can't wait any longer. You haven't managed to find the platelets. We're just gonna have to go in and risk it, because the longer we wait, the more crazy it will get. So the longer we wait, the lower the platelets will be. So we're gonna have to go in and just risk it. Hands up for me. I call Ibie. I'm like, Ibie. So they're saying they have to operate by 8, right? And I don't know what to do. He said he's gonna do it. They've already started prepping me for surgery. I've been told not to eat anything, and that's that. Ibie's like, no, they can't do this. Have to wait. I'm like, let me try call him back and see. So I call him back and he says the same thing. The longer we wait, the higher the risk. And I kind of understood what he was trying to say, but there was no solution as to what will happen when I'm on the table and I'm bleeding and it's not stopping.
So anyway, he just gave us some optimistic
and political answer.
He's like, don't worry, I mean, your husband will make it. He's still going to be searching, so by the time we're actually starting the whole process and things like those, he'd have gotten the platelets.
Then that changed to, we have systems in place to ensure that that doesn't happen. That you don't bleed to death.
He said also something like that.
So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave this to God, and whatever happens, right? So I call Ibie. I'm like, you know what, let's just pray, let's just do this, and if the Lord doesn't agree that this should be happening, there will be something that will go on to stop it.
And well, you forgot to mention some of the reasons why he's pushing for this whole thing is that from 83, which was yesterday or the previous day, she had dropped to 80.
I had dropped to 80, and by the time they were doing, did they do another test?
Which we didn't have the results.
No, they were at 78. When I got them. Because I had done the test the moment I got to hospital, when I was admitted. So they had been 83 the previous day, then on the day they were 80. Then when they were prepping me for surgery, they took more blood, and the results came at 78. So they were dropping and dropping really fast.
So at some point I was like, okay, you know what? There was a time I was not feeling well, and I went to the hospital. I did the blood works, and I knew I was over 240, I think around 280, something like that, the platelets, which meets the requirements. So now that I'm doing well, it should be better or nicer. So I was like, worst case scenario, I'll go do it myself. And given that it is Nairobi on a Wednesday, traffic, I was going to take a motorbike, what we refer to as boda. So I was going to take a boda and go to the hospital, do that, and then come back.
But then I had called him about the surgery.
Yeah.
So he had left the whole plan of going to
the hospital.
To the hospital to donate to get the platelets, and instead just come to where I was admitted. By the time he's getting to the hospital, he can't find me.
Yeah.
Because I have been taken to the place where they take you.
The slaughterhouse.
As you await, you know, your turn to be taken into the theater, right? And he was unhappy. What did you do? You just came up to the area?
Yeah, I literally came there, and then I was like, I want to see her. I demand. Okay. Anyway, something in those lines.
Yeah, as Ibie is trying to come see me, at that waiting area, as you wait to go into the theater, the chief anesthetist, okay, the guys who take you, what do I call him?
The guy who gives you stories as he's injecting funny fluids inside you, and then before you respond to him, you just see black.
Basically, I can't pronounce that name. I'm sorry.
The one who does anesthesia.
Yes, the guy who does the anesthesia at the hospital, now the chief guy of those people, said no. We cannot continue this surgery. She has to get plasma at least. We are going to give her the plasma. And so that was that. Which is what we had been saying earlier. If the Lord doesn't want something to happen, then it wouldn't happen. So the guy came and said no, and that was that. So they had to give me plasma, and they wanted me to stay there. And my doctor had another surgery that was going to take about 4 hours. So I said no, I'm going to go back to my room, and you guys can bring me back when he's almost done. And that's what happened. So they took me back to the room, and that's where I found everybody. My mom, my brother,
the whole village was there.
Ibie and his sister. Yeah, everybody was pretty much in the room. I was so hungry because they had said I wasn't allowed to eat. So remember, from 6 a.m. I haven't eaten. So 6, it is now 9 a.m. I want to eat. I can't eat because I can be called back into surgery anytime. So I was literally like shaking. I was so mad that I couldn't eat because I also couldn't take any water.
So that is when I stepped out of the room, now in pursuit of the platelets. So at that time I have this good friend of mine at the hospital. We've been communicating, and she's like, okay, so now what is next? I'm now doing the tests. It looks like they are all positive. Then the hospital decides, you know what, we need her blood to confirm that she's all negative before we do the discharge of the plasma and the platelets and all those things. I'm like, the chick is having a drip and she's heading to theater. I can't get anything. In fact, I can't even bring it to you and all those things. Like, no, that's procedure. That is how it has to be. Again, I was like, I should replace you with a machine.
Now, here's the thing. Who comes out of the street, some random person decides, you know what, I want platelets. Yeah. And these platelets have to be, they're going to an O negative person. So now the hospital is like, no, we cannot allow this to happen. We have to get O negative. We have to confirm that the person is actually an O negative person.
So I even tried telling them, look, platelets don't have erasers. So whatever the case, whatever you're giving me, it will work on anyone. So can I just get these things and then we move on with life? No, we need to have our blood so that we confirm the whatever. And I'm like, so at that point I was really pissed. So I'm telling her, are you trying to tell me that you do not trust the hospital where we are at, that has requested for the platelets? Because they can send you an email, you know, they can send you whatever, we can scan it and then we send to you. No, we need our blood. I was like, this is a test that is done in dispensaries. You know, like I can do it myself. How complicated can that be that you really have to do it yourself? So at that point I just hung up and I was like, okay, looks like these platelets won't get. In fact, the lady was even telling me, just give the blood to a border person. Because I was even telling them, now how do I get it to you? So at this point we are from one side of the world, they are on the other.
Yeah, we were on opposite sides of town. Like
15 kilometers or so.
It was just a distance. And this lady is saying, put the blood work in a border. Huh?
Yeah, so that we get the blood and then we can do the whole thing. So I'm like, okay, fine. So that's not a problem. You have gotten that. How do you get me the platelets?
Yeah.
Are you still going to give me the same border? So now she keeps quiet. I'm like, I mean, you can clearly see that you're not thinking through what you say. So at that time, I am busy also trying to get the guys with the Red Cross and all those things to see how we can get the platelets and all those. I tried to even talk to the management of that hospital to see if they know or speed up the process. Let's just say we never got the platelets.
And we used the plasma instead and it worked.
Yeah.
You know?
But we still had to struggle with one thing though. We needed to have 2 pints of blood, O negative. And just in case.
Yeah, and someone called me and they went and they donated. Thank you so much for those who did.
Yeah.
I am so sorry. I was out of it. I didn't call you later. They wheeled me back into theater. And I'm thinking, oh, it's gonna be a breeze because they're gonna put me out. You know, I'm gonna sleep through this entire process. I go in and my doctor is like, oh, we are gonna give you an epidural. And I was like, what? No, I want to sleep. They're like, no, you need to be awake. You know, we need to see what's going on with you as we are, you know, we're going on with the surgery. And this is where I think that hospitals should really allow significant others in the room with the person, because it was the longest 45 minutes of my entire life. So at this point my veins were closing as well, my arms were swollen and so I had different I had different lines of the medication that they had to put in, not forgetting the epidural. And yeah, there I was, just chilling in a room of strangers. The only person I knew was my doctor. There were only like three ladies in the theater with me, or plus myself, so we were 4. And the rest, who were about maybe 7 or 8, were male assistants and whatever was going on in there. It basically felt very strange to me. I've been to theater before, but I was asleep. You know, so I didn't care much. I mean, I went in, came out, opened my eyes, and I was in the recovery room. But this time it was very cold. It's open. I mean, it's very cold. I'm surrounded by people I do not know except my doctor. My doctor is not talking to me because he's busy cutting me open, I suppose. I was getting really antsy. At some point, the anesthesia guy came and is one who was chatting with me, and that's when I fell asleep, I think, because I was exhausted because I hadn't slept the night before. And yeah, baby came out. Baby wasn't making noise. Baby was like, I don't know, purple, blue, I don't even know what that color was. It was a very tense 5 minutes of my life. But then, yeah, baby came out, and Ibie was the first to receive him out of the
theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, the boy had already his eyes open and was looking around. I just couldn't believe that.
After the baby came out, they gave him to me to kiss, and then they took the baby to you. And now I had to be calm and chill on the table as they're putting my abdomen together.
Yeah, like putting back the intestines, the word that they had removed, you know, and put aside.
I know I'm stupid, I'm silly, I'm so silly because I kept trying to reach over the curtain. No, I wanted to touch. And the doctor kept slapping my hand away because I'm strange like that.
Trust Mimi for this weirdness.
Yeah, so
you wanted to feel the whole.
Yeah, I wanted to feel like, what have they done to me? And you know, that time I have not even sanitized my hands, right? So there I am. And he kept slapping my hands away. He's like, I don't even know where I was getting all this energy.
Yeah, and how was that happening? I thought people are normally tired.
I was not tired. At least my upper body. Because you know, yeah, because you know, it's not that functional because you're already weak anyway. You're paralyzed of some way. So it's just this which was there, and I had a line right here. And I was still trying to.
Even if she was left, she could not have reached. But she still thought she would.
No, I was there because there's at some point I touched something, and the doctor hit my hand.
And now they had to throw it away.
So I don't know what I touched, but I did touch something. Anywho, so I was taken to the recovery place.
Sounds like Mika is awake.
Yeah. Taken to the recovery area. Ibie came to see me. He was snuck in by the doctor.
Yeah, imagine. Come. So yeah, so looked at her, she was doing well, everything was fine. At that time I had already gone to see the boy like 5 times or so. Taken as many pictures as I could, looked at him, you know, like, oh, okay, anything?
Is that what you were doing to him?
Okay, well, yeah, not exactly, but these movies that we like watching, very interesting. So I got paranoid. I was like, they better not swap my child.
Swipe your child. Yeah, they better not swap the child.
Yeah, so yeah, I took photos, looked around to find any marks or anything, you know, the birth marks and stuff that will help me identify him. So yeah, came back and sat, and I was like, the baby's out! Now that is to a village.
Yeah.
There were quite a number of people in that room that day.
Yeah.
And here are the photos. Yeah.
Yeah. After I left the recovery room, which was like 3 hours later after he was born, had to ask for my child for another 2 hours before my child came. And finally our baby came, and he was the most precious little human being we've ever seen.
I'm not crying. That shit was not working for me.
What do you mean?
This whole crime business that people do. I don't know, maybe it was just because I was too tired.
Yeah,
and
he
it
was
a
too
relief.
tired. Yeah.
You know, finally he's out. Cool. He's breathing. Cool. He doesn't have six fingers. Cool. Okay. I went back and sat again, now waiting for the mother. You see? So at which point do you cry? Or show emotions?
Yeah, like I felt so sorry for Ibie because he was there the entire time and he worked so hard to try and get the very best. And yeah, here we are. 7 months later, with our baby, even after all the drama. Would I do it again? Would you do it again?
Not that experience, but the kid part, yes.
No, I'm talking about even knowing that you would have gone through that experience. Would you go through it again to have Mika?
Yeah, I think it's worth it.
He is so worth it. Mika, say hey.
Say hi.
Say hi to the people.
Not hi to me. Say hi to the people over there. Look.
Mika, say hi. Yeah. Anywho.
Mika loves his daddy.
Yeah. Yes, he does. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this. It was so long and our battery is dying.
Yeah, come here.
So we're gonna say bye bye now and see you next time. See ya. Bye.